I should be good. a Okay, this one's gonna be fun to try and position, but it's so much better. So, sorry I'm late, guys. Sorry I'm late, guys. I had a few things to take care of. In other words, I had to eat dinner. Do that. Yes, and do I have Zoom? There you go. All right. But I look short. There we go. I think I like that better. Yeah. Usually I have this stuff already set up before I start the stream, but I was busy doing a couple of other things. So where should I start? As you might already notice by now, not only in just the audio quality, but just looking at it, I've got myself a new microphone. I have picked up the Beacon mic. So for those of you who are unaware, the Beacon microphone is probably the best USB microphone that is out there right now in terms of overall feature set. And that is the main reason I got it, is that it has the most amount of features that I've ever seen in a USB microphone. And it's all stored in the hardware of the microphone. So I can unplug this, plug it into a different computer, and the settings are all going to be the same. So I apologize if the microphone isn't quite up to quality. I already know that it's better than this piece of shit. The newer what was it? What was this microphone? The newer NW8000. Very cheap Chinese microphone. It served me well over the last few years. I felt it was time to change that. But yeah, I've picked up the Beacon mic. It had a Black Friday sale, so I had to take advantage of it. It was only $200 versus the $280 that it's usually sitting at. I have not drank enough water today. Well, there's gonna be a lot of hydration breaks during the stream. The other thing that I have picked up recently is this. I now have the Elgato Stream Deck Plus, so I'm able to change things a little bit quicker. Sorry, you guys didn't catch that. I can mute my microphone on the fly. I can disable my audio output. Of course, I have wavelength software, so I can change my Opera GX mix to be muted or not. Speaking of which, I can take this as a moment to check out the stream, how it's doing, my channel. So that just gave me a little bit of an idea of what my microphone actually sounds like. We'll go 4.5 on that area. I've had to really turn up my gain, but I should be pretty good. I still peak a little bit. Let's turn it down to 4. Take a decibel out of it. Like I said, I'm still trying to fucking tune this in and figure it out. But overall, I'm really liking this microphone. Again, I can still tune it down. Wow. I speak a lot louder than I normally thought I did. But I've also got a lot of range in my overall volume. My attenuation is looking good, and the compressor. Wow, I speak a lot louder than I thought I did. Let's turn that one down. That should be good. I don't want to turn it down too loud, too low to essentially kill the audio, but it should be fine. On top of that, I do apologize for whenever I have any keyboard noises or mouse noises or any extra noises that normally weren't in my stream. I apologize for those coming through every now and then. I'm still trying to figure out this microphone, figure out the settings that I want for it, and it's a little bit trickier than I thought it would be. In due time, I'm going to have it properly set up. Yeah. So before we get fully into the Furina story quest, let's showcase something that I found recently. I'm gonna close that. Do this. Turn that off. So we're gonna go to the display. Got to turn that on. Need to turn on my thing there. Yep. So I have found something very interesting. Found this scrolling through YouTube Shorts, and I figure I should let you guys know what it is. This is Genshin, a Genshin version of the popular word guessing game Wordle. This is not sponsored, by the way. And I've gotten to be pretty good at it, and I'm gonna show you the tips, the one trick that I use, because like, well, it's got me a 117 streak. So here's the trick that I do. I start off with Iato every single fucking time, and I look at primarily these 4 attributes: the region, the vision, the weapon, and the version. These 2 double arrows means that it was released a whole version patch beforehand. So here's how it explains it. Version, which character has been released in different, if the difference between your character, your guess, and the answer is higher than 1.1 version, tile display will display 2 arrows. So using this, they will be released before 1.6. All right, that's going to be a key thing. So Hydro characters before 1.6, it's very far and few in between. I usually go with Mona. She's a version 1.0 character that was a Hydro vision, and aside from Mona, there's only 3 other guesses, and those can be narrowed down very easily. If all 3 of these matched, it was going to be Barbara. If it was a different region like Leah, then it'd be Xingqiu, or Fatui for Tartaglia. But this is essentially what I have done. So version 2.6 way beforehand. So my next guess on this one is usually Shao, because he can help either narrow down a few extra little details. Animo character before 1.3, so their version 1.0 release, I usually go for Jean, and if it's not Jean, it's usually Sucrose. Okay, it's neither one of those. We're looking for an Animo character released in version 1.0, released in Mondstadt. So let's think for just a second. Who could it be? Like that ass, who could it be? Shit. I shouldn't have guessed Jean. I should have guessed Sucrose there. Because of this part. Sometimes I make little blunders like this, but usually after a little bit of thinking, I can figure it out. Mondstadt Animo users. Venti. See? But this is the trick I do. I can speed through it. Shit. And usually it's pretty quick and easy. Let's see. So, not from Melee, not Animo, not a polearm. I usually go with D-Luke on this one, version 1.0 from Mondstadt, not a Pyro or Claymore user. So then Fischl should help narrow it down, or it's going to be Fischl. Usually if it's not Fischl, it's Lisa. But that's essentially what I do, is I make guesses that kind of shoot for middles. One more time. This has been very addicting. D-Luke. Oh shit. Not what I wanted. Okay, 1.0. Not Bennett. You can guess D-Luke and still be fine. Power user version 1.0. It's not going to be Amber. It's not going to be Bennett. I apologize if this is a little bit whack. I just wanted to showcase this, and now I'm just addicted to it. Okay, so who's the other Pyro user? Wasn't very many Pyro users in Mondstadt in version 1.0. I'm thinking Bennett and D-Luke, but those both don't fit the criteria based on the weapon alignment. I was supposed to guess D-Luke on this one, but it just completely wasted itself. Who is it? All the Knights. Venture? Hold up. Who? And it's not uncommon for me to get stumped like this. Oh, no. Who am I looking for? Lee. Version 1.0 character released. Yeah. I've gotten addicted to that over the last few days. Anyways. Enough lollygagging, enough. It wasn't gonna be Amber. So that last guess, we're gonna pull it back up. It wasn't gonna be Amber for the simple fact of Diona. Diona, her weapon was wrong, so I went with D-Luke to try and narrow down a vision, and because I knew it was gonna be version 1.0, I just needed to figure out what vision it was. If it wasn't gonna be Pyro, then my next guess would have probably been Fischl, and that was gonna be a 50-50 there. Or not Fischl, but Lisa. Because again, the weapons you really got to pay attention to. That is the trick on that. Anyways, enough lollygagging. We are going to play the game now. Pro gamer strats. All right. All right. So, that was loud. Okay, so all right. So do tell me if my audio is a little bit loud or quiet in certain spots. Again, I'm still trying to tune things the way that I need them to be tuned, but the way that I want them to be tuned. I don't really have anything else to do other than to go into here. We start the little ocean. Yesterday.
Take it easy.
I turned down my own personal.
Hey, Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps?
The more lucrative, the better.
You know we're worth it. For quality work and speedy results, choose Paimon and the Traveler.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original
Actress.
cast member ran into some issues and is currently unable to perform the role. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties, so unfortunately they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job.
Yep, because time is money.
There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show. And delays tend to create all sorts of new problems.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? He's right over there.
He goes, I'm thinking.
Maybe you
How
can't
do I
fill
get
the
out
role
of this
yourselves,
situation?
but you might be able to help him figure out another solution. Maybe there's something he hasn't thought of.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon. Hyman approves, let's go!
I'm curious on how
Hello
this
there, are you the guy
story
looking
quest
for a new
is.
actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my musical?
No.
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
And thus comes in Furina. Somehow. I don't know how.
Ah, I see.
I don't know why.
It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe. One last show, and after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it.
Catherine mentioned that one of your actresses can't make it.
Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood, and unfortunately, it flared up again recently. It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform.
Fucking what was that illness called in Sumer? Those super specifics.
The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas. What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
Oh, good lord. Paimon.
Please, there's no need to go that far.
You aren't
I
charity.
wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
More isn't the biggest problem. True. I have 140,000 I do. Or 140 mil. Or no, 14 mil. Actually, how much more do I have? I have to check that now. It's either 140 or 14. I think it's closer to like 14. But still, I've got a ridiculous amount of more. I think we'll be fine.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance
Oh
possible.
no.
Oh, wait! What about... you know who? That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have all the free time in the world right now.
Yeah, but
Really
that's...
good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
Is it now, Paimon? I feel bad for her after the Archon Quest. Why should we ask her to come onto the stage again?
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous.
Furina.
Her? You're... That was a joke, right?
Nope. Dead
No,
serious.
Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
You hear the fucking smugness. Like, yeah, I got this. I got this.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner.
Yeah, I wonder how the public sees the whole Hydra Archon nonsense. Like, do they even think they still have a Hydra Archon? You know, or...
She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
Like, it is what I'm thinking of. Like, has Nouvellette come in and said anything? That's what I'm thinking. Has Nouvellette announced what actually happened? That now he's the de facto Archon of Fontaine, you know?
Well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show. I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too.
The rest of the troupe's gonna be too fucking starstruck to do anything worthwhile. There.
I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
There you go. Get a little bit more comfortable.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her.
That is true.
And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Let's go. It'll be good to check in on her anyway.
Thank you for your help.
I wonder where
I
she
guess I'll just
is
stay here
actually.
and wait for the good news. Good luck.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved out, right?
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Jesus Christ, Catherine. Much of an eavesdropper, are ya?
Woo! When did you get here?
Just now.
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed.
Oh well.
It
Shit.
is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Sure it is.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy.
Where does she live? Like seriously, does she live in some basic ass house, or is she living it up in a little mansion, or a little condominium? Like, how is she living these days?
I can't believe they're seriously asking Lady Furina. Seems a little over the top.
Try not to worry. May I pour you a glass of water?
There. Now I'm situated. I can't wait to get the fucking camera now. Because at some point I do plan on getting the Facecam Pro from Elgato. Liked what I saw when it was initially revealed. So, yeah, it'll be nice. Tally ho! Tally ho part 2. Oh! Oh, this is her place. Right next to the fucking blacksmith. That would probably be very loud. It already is loud.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here?
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just, a bit of a step down from the Palais Mermonia.
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Wow, she sounds so defeated. Like, there's so little energy in her voice. Wow. I was wondering what she was gonna be like after the Archon Quest. I guess she'd be a little bit down for a while. Once again, no vision, so she's still just a regular ass human, but dressed very fancily.
Okay, when did Poppy got a thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food, but now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too.
Don't you get sick of macaroni every day?
Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
Is it because you have to do all your own cooking now? I mean, she doesn't have to. She could probably go to Nouvelle and say, hey, can I get some catering, please?
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity! It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Those sound very fancy and very complex. Are you sure?
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Wow, Paimon. Now that you know she's not the fucking Archon, you're talking shit left and right.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace.
Nope, we're actually here to give you an opportunity.
Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot!
She still got this ass.
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad!
I was just showing concern for your well-being.
Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to...
You are so trying to save face right now, Paimon.
Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
That's not important. We actually came here to ask you for your help.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
That's not what we need help with.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
You're the only person for the job.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific?
Well, you did play in the longest, most painful opera for 500 years.
I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities.
I wonder, since she doesn't have a vision, right? Is she gonna be the second story quest character that we don't play in a story quest? Just think about it. The first one is Albedo back in version 1.2. In any of his quests, primarily his story quest, we don't trial him. So we have no clue what he's like at C3. That is if you don't wail for him already. But she might be the second one. Unless she gets her vision midway through and then we have to fight monsters for some weird ass reason. I'm struggling to see where this could go for her to not only earn her vision, but I mean, well, you can earn your vision in just about any situation, theoretically at least. It doesn't require some great struggle. Your hopes and dreams and your ambition just needs to match that of either previous vision bearer or be strong enough to grant a new vision.
But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
Is it financial reasons? We can help.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you!
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
Oh.
Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me.
The fuck is that word? Hold up. Investigation time. In in other words, permanent.
Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again.
Fair enough.
But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
So that's how you really feel.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place.
Yep. Because that's how boundaries work. If you don't stay steadfast in that boundary, people will take advantage of it. This is a life lesson, not just some basic weird ass rhetoric that you can ignore. This is actually something that I practice with my my workplace. Is that I have one specific day off, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to change to get rid of that day. All right, I have one day and one day only to myself, and that is today. In other words, Saturdays. I'm not giving those up. It's simple as that. It's the one day that I need to be able to guarantee myself, and it works out in the end.
So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Good job, Furina.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help.
Shouldn't assume the worst of people. Worth making one exception. We'll just go with that one.
True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for. Ooh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it. Nope, not happening.
Fair enough.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the guy we're working for.
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would.
Now you're just trying to pressure her to say yes, Paimon. Fuck off. But hey, we need to develop tension somehow, so.
Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
Try to come up with plan B. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I guess that's all we can do now. All right, then. We'll see you around, Furina.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
Are you gonna get a little bit more with Furina, just her by herself thinking? Wonder. Oh, okay.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
Yeah, it is probably that, Paimon. Like it's one of those things of, you know, you go through such an experience for so long, you just want to get away from it. That reminds me, I need to level this up and level this up eventually. Yeah, I went ahead and pulled for Furina's weapon, lost lost it twice, and yeah, now I have a fucking green donut that's useless to me. And this will be fun to try and figure out. Because I don't really have any Claymore characters that I use now. Like, maybe D-Luke, but he's soon going to be replaced by Hu Tao. And, my Yoimi already does more damage, so.
Got a new letter from an informant.
Shit.
Looks like the
Fat
situation
finger.
has changed again.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
Ah!
When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform.
That'll be a good saving grace, because Furina's not gonna want to do jack squat with the opera right now.
Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always the dream, of course.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Imagine if we had managed to convince Furina to join only for her to find out she's no longer needed. That'd be one. Hey, look who's there. I'm sorry. I just see it in the background. I wonder, did she just like sneak up on us or something? Like, when did that happen? Shit. Left pressing the wrong buttons. Trying to have the talk about you. Let's just set that to 2 times speed. So nothing. She was standing there for the fucking beginning. What? Like, what? Since when did she get behind the counter there? Like, nothing from the background, nothing, just... Huh? Nothing, and then there. Like, here's what I'm seeing right now, right? Like, there she is. Right on the screen. Clear as day. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
You're about to get it anyways, Paimon.
Jeez, Is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
No.
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
I think Aether's fucking noticed it by now.
Look,
No?
there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day.
Imagine that the medication actually has some whack-ass side effect that the doctor didn't anticipate.
I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
Paimon, wait here a second.
Sure.
Ethermenologist. And found you.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list.
He's like, nope, you're coming with me.
All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
That's actually nice that they just animate that. It's like, nope, you're coming with me.
Hello, one and all.
Oh
I
my
couldn't
God.
help but overhear
Furina,
your
just stop.
conversation.
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned.
A teensy.
Yes, a teensy bit concerned.
Uh-huh.
That's all.
Just slightly, just a little bit, just a tip. Oh. I'm sorry, that was wrong.
When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things.
Well, yeah, that's what you do with setting boundaries. You make it very crystal fucking clear.
And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
Then why didn't you just show yourself?
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you?
Well, yeah, he was being weird. You were hiding while eavesdropping on the conversation. We're going to question your actions.
I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me.
Yes.
But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that, and no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Imagine Furina becomes the director, no?
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in this serial disappearances
shit.
case.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yep.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can, but despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart. It's agonizing, but ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
That's so sad. Alexa played Despacito. I'm sorry. Being way too fucking brutal with the
What
jokes.
a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
She's gonna become the director. Oh.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them?
A verdict can bring emotional catharsis. They come pouring out and flow away into infinity.
An
Yeah.
interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh?
Paimon, quit being a dick.
You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
You all do it, especially since it's related to the spiral disappearances case. No, I'll do it for
Thank
Furina.
you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances, as of course we all are. Alright, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
Imagine this is a gross exaggeration. Or lack of exaggeration. Oh. That one. Do I want a different? We'll just run this team. Huh. This dainty little place. Imagine it's gonna be way bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Huh? Lady Furina?
I like the music.
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction. You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying The Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Finding an actress was the least of your problems. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human, and sure enough, she found friendship and even love. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
And that's where the writing stopped.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage, but people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own.
So, one idea that I've got coming to mind is what we should do is look at all the author's past works and then try and gauge what the author's writing style was. Right, what kind of stories were being made, and was there anything that was standoutish to this story in terms of the themes that would be different? You know, what is the author trying to do? Granted, I flunked language arts, but I still have a good bearing on what the writing should be. So my idea would be to look at the author's previous work and see what the author's writing style was. You know, what themes did the author have? What did they want to? What did they usually go with in the direction? Like, what direction did they take their stories? And then you look at this unfinished work, and if you can find anything, if you find anything that kind of sets it apart in a way, in terms of the creative writing that is found in it, you would probably be able to find like a few little details that would make it different or still keep it the same. Sorry for bumping my microphone. I'm still getting used to this thing. No, it sounds like the story hasn't reached the climax yet, so we're still in the stages building up to that. We've gotten the first and most of the second act. Most of the second act. And usually you can break a story into 3 acts, with the third act having the climax and the resolution. You know. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents on it.
And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from 2 of our main actors. The
What do you
first is
mean?
Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script, but the deadline's passed and we still haven't heard from him. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
We use you as leverage, Furina.
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way.
How cute.
I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago, said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson?
Oh god. She's still completely, like, she's legitimately traumatized about that experience.
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So, allons-y. To Poisson!
Oh yeah. And boink. That is actually so useful. I think I'm gonna only stream select character quests, because I know I've got a lot. There'll be I'll record the ones that I don't stream, but I gotta reposition myself now. Jesus Christ, 9,000 kilobits per second. I've got you set to 6,800. Please, can you go back down to that range? Thank you very much. And okay. Settings. Or no, not settings, but shit, what was I saying? Shit, what was I about to say? Oh yeah. But to kind of veer off topic from the story quest here and talk about the others, I've got a bunch of story quests to do. Ones that I'm probably going to end up skipping is probably going to be Nilu's, maybe Diaz, Baiju's, and Wriothesley. Right, those ones I'm not too sure if I want to stream them. Linny and Alhaitham come into like a Linny, Alhaitham, and Sino come into a secondary group, and then Yoimiya, Nuvolet, and Furina are, as well as Nahida, are all going to be ones that I streamed without a doubt. Next one that I do is probably going to be Nuvolet's stream. Nuvolet's. And I cannot speak English for some reason. Next one is probably going to be Nuvolet's story quest. For the simple fact of he's just more relevant to the story than maybe to Nahida, than to Yoimiya, because her story quest, from what I could tell, is pretty much a feel-good story. And then I don't know about Sino. Gonna be a little bit out of order, but I'm just doing what I want to do.
The world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose
I don't
from.
want that.
Need me to come up with some for you? Take it easy.
Well, it's a little bit more lively than it was beforehand, though. Just looking around. But the music is still somber. Fish is still down. Man.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show.
Yep.
Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson.
Oh.
I assumed it was a case of mistaken
Navia.
identity, but sure enough,
Didn't
here
think
you
that
are.
we'd see Navia here.
And Furina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
Why are you so, like, dejected now?
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll.
Fucking nope. You're coming with me, buddy. The fucking animations, they've done so bad. They've tucked it up in that one notch. I don't see how they could really improve much more than they have already here. But that was fucking great.
Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
She's like, oh, I have a feeling that you all need to talk about something, so I'm just gonna take this knucklehead over somewhere else. Okay, have a nice chat, toodaloo.
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
You included, Miss Navia.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done.
Talking from experience, unfortunately.
Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Furina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Fucking hell, she worked quick.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Got it.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have.
Man, getting some fucking nasty looks.
I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems, but that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want
hear
to see for myself
footsteps.
the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me, which, of course, I completely understand and accept.
This one's giving her like the side eye. It's like, bitch, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
Maybe you've taken maybe you've taken on a bit too much in one go. Damn.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Not staying quiet either, yeah.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there.
A little bit surprised that we don't have a teleport waypoint up there, but ain't gonna change what I'm gonna do much.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll, and here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Even though it's very depressing.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
It's so... It's one of those... It's so... Like, immediately I'm thinking of, say, a soldier in an army, you know, just following orders. All right, those orders might not be the right ones, but the only reason they follow those orders, even though they know them to be wrong, they may follow those orders so that way they can live on, you know. It's one of those things of there is no winners in that one. There was no winners in this situation.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Think of your freedom as your reward. Your reward to do whatever you want, essentially. You know, you can live for yourself rather than for other people at this point. For the first two versions of Archon Quest, I expressed my dislike of Furina's character, mainly in just her attitude. She was arrogant, she was bratty, annoying, selfish, you know, she exuded that presence of a god, but just a very arrogant at that. And to be frank, it was an annoying trait. You know, that trait of, I can do whatever I want, and I'm always right, you know. And you have nothing that there's nothing that you can do against me. It took us so much effort to finally corner her. It took us so much effort to finally put her in a corner and trap her, essentially. And even then, she fought to the bitter fucking end playing that role. It's... And I think all the way up until the 4.2 Archon Quest, Act 5, she wasn't that good of a character. We needed the full story to see exactly why her character was good, and we did. We learned that the reason why she was doing this wasn't because that was her. She was desperately trying to... The reason why she was so quick to try and save face, to save her ass so many fucking times, the reason for her arrogance, the reason for all those negative attributes was so that her facade, her masquerade, doesn't break. So that people could see that shell, that mask of someone, of a god, essentially. Not someone who knows what they're doing, but of a god. Doesn't matter if that person knows what they're doing. If they're a god, then they're right. That's what the people of Fontaine believe. Up until we started poking holes, pointing out all the holes in her story, all the holes in her mask, in her facade. Thus the guilty verdict from Nouvelle. And then on top of that, you know, once we finally learned the true story of why Furina acts like that, is that she was, quite frankly, to be frankly put, to put up that facade, to put on that mask, and play the role of the Hydra Archon. So she acted in the way that she thought that a god would react. She acted in a way that a god would act, and it worked. It worked for so long, and it was effective enough. Was it the most effective solution? Probably not. But it was effective enough, and she stuck with her guns for so long. So that's really one of those things of, like, I think she's one of the best, if not the best written character in Genshin. You know, rivaling that of A and Albedo. You know, two characters with very, very interesting stories. We also have Tartaglia, now that his story is getting fleshed out more and more, especially in this version, in the Fontaine Archon quests. You know, we got a little bit more of his story told through the quest rather than through his voice lines or stories. Oh god. You know, Artalia is starting to become a very interesting character as well. Anyways, but after that arc, after the 5th act of the Archon Quest, we learned the full story of Furina, and we got essentially what we were needing to see the full depth of the character. That was what was missing for the first 2 versions, is that we didn't see the full depth of her character. That's why our opinions were mostly negative. But we learned what the reason was, and we now, instead of disliking the character, we now just feel empathy for the character. She really pulled a fucking Zuko arc. not to degrade the character Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender, though. But you know, you have a character that started off as essentially an antagonist. You know, that through the storytelling of the game, we were able to empathize with the antagonists, and you know, of course, the antagonist, because of their backstory, we got the reason why they act in certain ways. We can empathize with the antagonist. There's better ways to put it than what I'm putting it here, but like, I do believe there's a video on YouTube that I've watched. Empathizing with the villain. Sympathy for the villain. You know, there's a video by the YouTuber Lemon, Sympathy for the Villain. He talks they talk about the various traits and whatnot, various conflicts that come about, and then there's of course other videos out there that have, you know, videos talking about the character Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender, that talks about his story arc with empathizing with the villain. I think the YouTube channel Movie Therapy is probably a good one to look at for content like that. I strongly recommend checking out those things. They explain it the way they explain it in a way better than what I'm trying to do here. And I feel like the same practices were put into play with the character Furina here, because her presence to start off with was just antagonizing, immediately just trying to find problems with us. So yeah.
Reward?
Because now you can finally speak your heart. You don't have to be anguished and alone. We'll go at the top.
So. And back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing a secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
No.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
So Essentially, the reason why she wasn't good with relationships, just to paraphrase, that she had to essentially burn every single bridge that may have been just starting to build. She had to make sure that nobody got close enough to know her secret. Not even Nouvelette. Nouvelette was also in the dark about this. Furina was the only one that knew exactly what was going on, at least on her part. In terms of what was happening behind the scenes in the oratories, the person who got closest to that was Lenny. Hearing a voice in the oratories. Yeah. Nobody knew what Fossilor was doing. Fossilor was doing Fossilor things, and everybody was kept in the dark, including the viewer, including the player. We had no fucking clue what was going on until we heard a little bit from the 4.2 trailer and then in playing the game itself. Crazy. What I meant to say was she doesn't like to see you so down. You feel better having gotten all this off your chest?
I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Nice. We love a good heart-to-heart. So yeah, Furina has become one of my most one of my favorite characters in the game. I can't wait to get her built, so that way I could put her on this team.
You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food.
That's the exact problem
my
there
character
is
doesn't
here.
need to be slim and good looking. That's your job.
Oh, what a bitch. That's a dick move. That's a dick move.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Fair point.
No, looks like they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
That is the most fucking raw reaction we've seen out of a single character. Paimon, you are definitely not sorry for laughing at that. That's gotta make do with what you got. Oh.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too, like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
Oh no. Why did we have to immediately pan Furina?
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe. allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is
Freaking
like
random.
your home.
Random diver in the background.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore. I spent some years
I don't
want to
play with you anymore.
trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes.
All right. Before we can continue the quest, I'm gonna get a refill on my water bottle here. So sit tight for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, what? Okay. Finally appeared waiting for you to play this Archon Quest for 2 weeks. Well, first of all, it's not an Archon Quest, and second of all, I'm sorry. Okay, now. I'm glad I don't do this as a professional thing, to say the least. I don't do this in any capacity where I earn money from it, but yeah, I do feel a little bit bad for not having done this story quest in a hot minute. It's really one of those things. Gotta find motivation for it. But I'm here nonetheless. I'm having fun. I'm playing through the story quest. Just got back from a quick water break, so I need to open up my window. My room's fucking warm.
She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troop and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Furina.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I?
Don't mind me, I've
the
got
script,
myself
of
a
course.
fucking chocolate bar.
Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human, against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it, and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret.
Well, but of
The little
course.
Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover, and the rest of humanity.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
She turns into
Well,
Jesus.
She mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love one that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible.
Not quite.
What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible to present to the audience.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death, both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen?
Oh, wow.
It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with Aureli.
What? You kept that one quiet.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Oh, Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by Aureli. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Villemont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
What is that supposed to mean? Alright, time for a quick Google. Ah. Let's sorry, just say, all right, let's go. That one.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
Wow. Also, is this a quest specific one? It'd be great if it wasn't. It is not.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry, we should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Yeah, but she can't really fight all that much either. She doesn't have any power over Hydro.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into Indemnitium.
No,
Furina said
that's
so
not
herself.
quite it.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway.
Okay, thank you for telling... Thank you for telling half of the truth that gets the point across.
As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
That sounded
Jesus
so
Christ.
smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie. This doesn't require god level powers. Don't you know any self-defense?
Hey, lay off, all right? My glove is hanging from a thread here. I'm sorry. I got carried away. Please help us out, would you?
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Fucking Ether was looking at her, was like, yep, I thought so.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Ah, it's fine.
Sorry, piece of cake.
Yeah, Paimon said it, not me. Too bad this is a bad matchup for my characters.
No, I'm not.
Allow
Particularly that one.
Lightning, Sherlock! This way, Furina.
Bitch.
Gotcha.
I see everything. Yeah. Commit it to memory. Yeah.
Dissipate. Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
I kind of want to do this puzzle real. Because that is a luxurious chest. Just gonna do this. All right, back to this.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Viamant, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamant. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Oh boy.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I remember that it induces a state of euphoria, but also causes significant harm to the body. Yeah, I kind of forgot about it. I just know that synth was essentially like a drug.
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then?
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
You brought the director to the attention of the synth dealers. They gave them a motive, kidnap. I'll go with the positive element.
I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean, you were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her! How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered! She was the love of my life! And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show! How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life.
Jesus
so I can meet
fuck.
the director and apologize to her in person.
Holy shit. Wow. I just want to take a second to say, holy shit on this voice acting. This voice acting is nuts.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
It might actually be possible to find out more about her fate.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
Oh wow, we're going back.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
Furina's whole attitude is so different. Okay, it is 9 o'clock. Anila's birthday. We get our Furina gems from winning an award in PlayStation. But
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one.
Furina's attitude is completely different. And I really like it. You know, you don't see the facade anymore, and you know, you hear the grief in emotion behind how she feels. Like you can feel her emotion through how she speaks, but you can now sense that it's genuine rather than a facade, and it's a lot better.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now.
Oh
Still,
yeah.
since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women.
Wow.
If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Vacher took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off.
Something wrong.
Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Someone else was taken. That makes sense. 6, perhaps the 7th. So I tried to escape yesterday, but caught. He hasn't been seen since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. Long since lost track of time. Sorry, I don't know if writing this use or how longer I can already see my fate approaching, but what terrifies me is the thought. Have I truly protected it? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I can write no more. I have a fever and my old troubles have. Nobody has given me. Because I am more fortunate. Gracie, the pain keeps her awake all night. I suppose they think that anything goes as so long as the experimental subjects can be used up before they die. It is so damp here. I have given her my blanket. So cold, so cold. As long as one persists, all things will pass. There will be a reward for hard work. I like to tell them such things, but it is I who am losing. Anyone sees this group safe, I them important. Please for apologize, life reform teacher, Brett Cleo. Page is an absolute mess, and the writer's pen seems to have wandered its surface at random. Only some words can be made out, and barely at that. From this page onward, the diary starts thoughts to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are in the form of newspaper clippings, others are handwritten with many crossings and changes. It is apparent that the pages have been referenced often, and that this was the personal notebook of artistic director Ariel. I can't read between the lines.
She was so terrified.
She watched a girl get dissolved right in front of her and had to wait for her own death and fuck.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
Flipping through the notebook, the lyrics continue. However, one page has been torn out, folded up, and placed next to the last blank page. At the bottom of the folded note are two new lines Ariel has written, in handwriting much more legible than before, but it seems that they took her both great effort and a great deal of time to write. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want? Because I am an older sister to them. I love them.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this still what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision, even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love, and she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
Oh, O'Reilly. I said Ariel. Yeah, I don't know why. After reading through the notebook, some are lost for words. Some weep bitterly, and some grind their teeth in hell with rage. This music is not helping. A long time passes before the group is able to calmly come together and finally make a decision.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance, to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Commitment.
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing.
You know, here's my guess. It's commitment. They're putting 110% into this performance. They are not going to allow for a mistake to happen. You know. It's one of those things.
If you want to move the audience with your music,
yeah,
you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role. pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary
Yeah,
stage.
let's make them nervous
By
as
which I, of
fuck.
course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Go big or go home. Send it. Oh.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you? I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then
Now they're
don't
gonna be
disappoint
too
me.
nervous.
If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find him.
Back in the usual office. Or a really weird spot. Let's actually talk to everybody.
First Miss Furina, now the Opera Epiclese? If only the director was still with us.
Hey, come on. There's no point in dwelling on that now. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you're right. Now's not the time to get all melancholy.
You're just doing whatever.
Best of luck to you.
That was quick. Wait. The fuck? Mihayo. There's something wrong with this instrument here. You know, this side looks fine and all, but first of all, it's flat. Second of all, why is the design copied on the other side? There's a problem here.
First Miss Furina, now the Opera Epiclese?
I didn't want to do this.
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
During the final scene, maybe we should stop the music just before Cleo takes the stage?
Alright. Renewal it. Be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Oh.
Hey, look at that! Looks like I guessed right.
You were just guessing?
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
There's a story of the little ocean with along with
understand.
the backstory.
The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes, and this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But one thing led to another, and... well, here we are. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom, but I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions. Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervalette.
Alright.
You are very welcome. Many people were once enthralled by Lady Furina's performances, myself included. I hope that one day she'll be able to understand that our appreciation was always sincere.
Alright. Back to the troop. I've got no extra comments.
Good news, everyone. It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Nervalette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance.
Quit embellishing it,
We
Furina.
had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity. But we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, Let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive
Oh god. That's wow, Paimon. Nice shade you're throwing there.
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's
Look,
amazing.
tired.
Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up.
Looking forward to the final production. Yeah, same here. I, as the
Please
player,
feel
am looking
free
forward
give
to
us
it.
any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Oh. Nice.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
She is
Everyone's
nervous as
really
fuck.
throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only.
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage.
Why? Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What?
God damn it.
I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
Yeah.
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
Miss Furina, I'd like to make a request of you.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Here, the cutscene.
Is she here yet?
Will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi.
Beautiful. Beautiful song.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je suis serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté, et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
She got her vision. Oh my god. Oh, once again, this game makes me cry.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait,
She deserves it.
that's
She
not
is a
her
good
name.
god.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognized me. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that, despite everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on!
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, so it was Furina after all.
She's back!
Bit of a dick move, but
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
Yes, I know the rule, but it should still be applied on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't ready for this yet.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
At most, you might be asked to sign a few autographs later.
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
But can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack. Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh, that. I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her.
I wonder what her ambition was at that
Yes.
moment.
Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
Man, this game. For those of you who have not downloaded the game already, do so now. This game is so good. I'm gonna have to watch over the cutscene again a few times, but it's not gonna be on stream. That's for sure.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage! You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first thing tomorrow morning!
To answer that, please make sure to live stream the playthrough of the event. I have already played through it in a mad scramble to get as many primo gems as possible. So sorry to let you down on that front, but it was really one of those things I probably wasn't going to stream it anyways, as the premise of the event didn't pique my interest in the first place. Like I said earlier in their stream, I've got a bunch of story quests that I still need to do, and some of them probably might not even make it onto my channel, mainly because I may just want to do them casually and not really, you know, I might not just react all that much to it. You know, there was one moment in that entire event quest that got me to react, and that was it. It was uninteresting to me. So that's, hate to break your heart about it, but I'm not gonna do it. I've already done it, and I've already done it.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end. I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say that you made your mark on this memorial show.
Well, one way or another, We did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note. That's all that matters.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up all the time.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
Aw,
Yep.
you two clearly care a lot about each other.
Your best friends.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And we're
I mean,
getting
we
a.
never stop arguing with each other.
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't want to. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the Little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go, until I finally acquiesce. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole experience has shown me that perhaps I'm not as averse to a return to the stage as I'd previously imagined. Maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all.
There's no need to draw lines in the sand. Just do whatever feels right to you. Yeah.
Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered long into the future. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Next time I'll invite you to join me.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
Good shit. Good show. Jolly good show.
I mean, of course I have some regrets, but
There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future for us to tell the stories that we want on stage.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, I've got an interview with the Steambird to get to. Thanks to all your help, this show was more perfect than we ever could have hoped for. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me the chance to finally say farewell to O'Reilly.
Do you have anything to say?
feel ready to pass out.
Agreed. How about you?
Thank you so much. I feel like I've rekindled the passion I had when I first joined the troupe. It might turn out to be too little, too late for me. But still, this has been the experience of a lifetime.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power. And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands. Is that how humans feel about it as well?
Yes. Wow. I wish I could go in. I think I might be able to. Damn. You know what? Let's see what she really thinks of the vision. Voiceovers. I'm cheating a little bit, but I want to see it. About the vision, friendship level 4. In which case, I'm gonna have you guys see this. I don't have her voice lines unlocked, but I do want to at least read through them. I just realized that my Opera GX is turned down.
Once the ancient prophecy came to an end and everything was over, I fell into low spirits for a very long time. People who stand on the stage basking in the adulation of their audience must also bear the pressures of being in the public eye and living up to everyone's expectations. But I knew very well my person wouldn't be enough, and that putting on the act of a god would be the only way to satisfy their adoration. And at the end of the day, all I ever experienced was loneliness. So, there came a point when I loathed the very thought of acting and locked myself in my room. It wasn't until the moment I stood on stage and faced the audience again that I realized the anxiety in my heart had dissipated. The reason I can now stand before the crowd's watchful gaze is perhaps because I have finally started to act as myself.
Oh. That is interesting. All right. Well, that has been Furina's story quest. I have to say it was pretty good. And like I thought, she is the second character to now have a story quest and no trial of the character within that story quest. Or yeah, second character. He's from. Okay, just gave me a cookie. Pretty good. Anyways, back on topic. Her story quest was really good. The VA was on point. The whole voice acting was very good. I have many fans in China who really like your videos. Thank you for your live broadcast. Thank you for watching. But yeah, it's one of those things of like the voice acting has really stepped up in this version, in the last few versions. You know, the characters feel so real. And while I wasn't too familiar with, say, the VA of Amberly Connors here, the only reason I recognized that name was through the anime Komi Can't Communicate. She voices Komi. So I was not really expecting this kind of performance from Amberly Connors, and wow, the range is nuts. And the developers, the directors, everybody involved with making the story of this game, of Fontaine, of all these characters, they have been doing just an absolute fantastic job. You know, I just can't. It's hard to put my thoughts into words because this has been so good, and the game has been fun for me. I have been enjoying the storytelling that this game has given me. And while this story quest wasn't very action-packed, we did get a lot of just basic storytelling that was done very well, and I enjoyed every moment of it. So that's all I really have to say. This game is great. If you haven't played it, please give this game a try. It's a ton of fun in just the gameplay alone, and with the characters that you meet along the way, they are so, the cast is so diverse.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose
There you
from.
Do we have anything? Nope. In terms of other story quests, again, just to kind of run down what story quests that I have planned to do. I'm gonna be trying to do Nouvelette's quest next. I probably should have done it on release, considering that there was some context to how Nouvelette acts in the Archon Quest, given in his story quest. So I will definitely be checking out his story quest at some point. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week afterwards. I genuinely don't. It's going to be based off of how I'm feeling that if I want to, you know, stream. You know, I'll be doing Linny's at some point, Yoimiya, Mahita. Those few are the ones that are kind of at the high priority list to be on a stream at some point. I'll probably do Baiju's on my own, same as maybe a recording. Who knows? Same goes for Dia and Nilu. don't really see much of their stories being put into a live stream. Alhaitham and Sino might be on stream, or there'll be a recording. And Risley is kind of same boat as Dia and Nilu. But yeah, not much I can really do here other than finish out this stream. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If did, please hit the like button and subscribe subscribe to the channel for more content. Really would appreciate it. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell. That way you guys get notified for every time I upload or go live.
Got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation is
I would appreciate a little bit of any little bit of feedback that I can get when it comes to the audio side. Like I said, I did get a new microphone. I've got the Stream Deck Plus as well. So anybody who's watching, feel free to, anybody who's watching and who knows a thing or two about audio, especially with microphone EQ, give me a few pointers. I would really appreciate it. I'm very much out of my depth when it comes to that audio. And in terms of the Stream Deck side, I'm just trying to see if it's anything's too loud or too quiet. But yeah. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.